Welcome everyone to another Edge of Fate build video, and today I'm bringing you a monster of a hunter build. A couple of videos ago I made a gunpowder gamble hunter build, and someone left a very nice comment down below saying that Bungie now made it where Tempest Strike will work with combination blow. I did not know this, so as soon as I saw this comment I immediately hopped on the game and had to test it out and have fun with it, because Tempest Strike and Arc Hunter are generally some of the most fun that I've ever had in this game. So as soon as I heard that this is a thing, I needed to immediately get my hands on it, and let's just say I was not disappointed. This build absolutely fries any type of enemy in any type of content. Once you get combination blow ×3 going combined with Tempest Strike, you can literally jolt and just infinitely loop and fry any enemy you run into. It is so much fun. You get so much dopamine just from watching all of the electricity and the jolt go off, the infinite amount of just status effects on your screen. I cannot explain just how satisfying it really is. So needless to say, thank you to whoever commented that. I do appreciate that you showed me this. In this build, we are also going to be going ahead and using the Gifted Conviction Hunter exotic chest piece. This will basically just supply us with a very easy way to gain an insane amount of damage resist. All you literally have to do is jolt targets, and this build has like 5 different ways to jolt targets basically off cooldown. Combining that with a couple of other fragments, we will have basically insane damage resistance as well as basically infinite bolt charge. I don't know if you can tell in the gameplay, but I do break it down later in the video. I do show off that you can get a bolt charge off basically around every 3 kills, which is very, very nice for doing chunk damage to any type of enemy you hit. The gameplay you're seeing right now is me on MYTHIC Difficulty in a campaign mission. Later on in the video, I do take the build into a live solo ops at -51 power as well, where I break down and go through how to use the build. But for now, let me actually get into what to run on the build and why we are running everything that we are running to give us this insane arc destruction build. All right, for this build to work, we do need to be on the Arc Strider Hunter subclass, and that's because this is the subclass that has access to Tempest Strike combined with Combination Blow, which is kind of the whole focal point to this build. For those of you who don't know, Tempest Strike is an aspect that makes it where when you slide and hit your melee button, it will create a really cool kind of arc staff slide wave melee. So now, as of recently, Bungie actually made it where Tempest Strike can actually proc Combination Blow. So just by getting kills with your Tempest Strike, there I even got Combination Blow ×2 because I got multiple kills with the same Tempest Strike. You can see that it actually does count for Combination Blow, which is huge in terms of increasing the amount of damage we do. Just to show you what Combination Blow can do, if I go ahead and Tempest Strike Carl here with 0 Combination Blow, you can see we're doing 613 damage. But now that I have Combination Blow ×3 there, when I go in Tempest Strike Carl, you can see we are now doing 2,661 damage, so quite an increase. For the exotic armor of choice with this build, we're going to go ahead and use Gifted Conviction. Gifted Conviction makes it where when you activate Ascension or Tempest Strike, it will throw bouncing explosive at nearby enemies that will jolt and damage them. But the best part of this exotic is this last line here, where if you jolt nearby targets, it'll grant you damage resistance. One thing to note as well is another reason that I did pick this exotic is because it is a featured exotic, so you can use this at anything that has that avant-garde modifier on it. Then obviously, since we're using Gifted Conviction, our other aspect is going to go ahead and be Ascension here. Ascension is pretty straightforward, just replaces your class ability with a kind of like fly up in the air ability that applies Amplified to you, as well as jolts any nearby targets under you. Now if we go ahead and use Gifted Conviction, if you go ahead and look at my resist down there, well, I kind of have too many buffs right now, but it was there for a second. But there, resist ×3. As I jolt people, I gain resist, which will then obviously give us damage reduction. Now, on top of applying jolt via Tempest Strike and Ascension, we're also going to apply jolt with our grenade using Spark of Shock. I prefer Pulse Grenade, but it is entirely up to you. Just make sure you are using Spark of Shock. Now for the rest of the subclass, your super is up to you. I prefer Gathering Storm just for the pure amount of damage it can do. You're going to want Gambler's Dodge, so every time we do use Ascension, we do get our Combination Blow back. For fragments, we're going to run Spark of Resistance just to get even more damage reduction while standing next to enemies. And then the next 3 fragments are going to be all about getting Bolt Charge just so we can get that big boost in damage. We're going to run Spark of Ions. This just basically makes it where when you defeat a jolted target, which we're going to do a lot with the many ways we have of applying jolt, it will create an ionic trace. Next is Spark of Discharge. This basically makes it when we do collect that ionic trace, it will give us a stack of bolt charge. And then we're going to run Spark of Frequency, making it where while we're amplified, which we're pretty much always going to be amplified via Ascension and Arc ability kills, we will then gain increased stacks of bolt charge from all sources. For those of you who don't even know what bolt charge is, it kind of looks something like this. Basically, when you use an arc ability on someone while you have bolt charge ready, it'll summon that big lightning strike from the sky. And now if you look in the bottom left at my buffs, as I kill jolted enemies, I'll get bolt charge stacks. So that right there already gave me 3. And literally just by getting a couple kills with our abilities on jolted enemies, I'll already have bolt charge ready. And the reason bolt charge is really good, because if I have combination blow times 3 with bolt charge, it now will make our Tempest Strike do 3,420 damage. Now for weapons to pair with it, there honestly are a whole bunch of different options, but since Gifted Conviction is a featured weapon, I figured I might as well go with another featured weapon, and that is going to be Centrifuge. Basically, just to summarize what Centrifuge does, if you look at the bottom left, I have a buff there called Overcharge Capacitor. And as I sprint, it'll build up meter, and basically the higher the meter is, the more kind of status buffs that my gun has. So when the bar down there is full, the gun will do 2 things. Any kill we get will cause a giant arc explosion, but it will also blind enemies that it hits. Now, the reason this gun fits into this build perfectly is because obviously we're going to be doing a lot of running using our Tempest Strike, but the bar will also fill whenever you use Ascension. It'll count as you sprinting / moving and filling the bar. So basically just by doing our melee combination blow loop, the gun will just stay at full bar at all times whenever you just need to shoot an enemy instead of kill him with a melee. Now, other weapons to pair with Centrifuge honestly is whatever you want. You can put anything you want in the heavy or primary slot, but the cool thing is, once again, Centrifuge is featured, so if you run featured gears in both slot, you can run this build inside of avant-garde missions. Now, in terms of artifact mods, there's only a couple that you're going to want. If you are going to use Centrifuge, you're going to want Overload Rapid Fire here, just so our Centrifuge does overload. I recommend Refresh Threads, so that anytime we do pick up an Ionic Trace, it'll give us some ability energy. Elemental Coalescence here will make it whenever we do defeat enemies, it'll give us a chance of creating an Ionic Trace. We're going to want Shield Crush here, just making it whenever we are amplified, our grenade will recharge faster and deal increased damage. And then finally, Elemental Overdrive. This makes it where anytime we do get an Ionic Trace, it'll give us a damage bonus to our arc weapons. For stat distributions to pair with this build, you're going to want as high as melee as possible, because this will affect how much Tempest Strike does. After that, then spec into supers, just so we can get our arc super as quick as possible. And then spec into class stat here, so that just in case we can't get a melee kill to get our class ability back, it will just naturally regen faster. Now for mods on the build, on the helmet, you're going to want Hands On and Dynamo. These are just going to make it where we get our super back quicker. And then you want Harmonic Siphon to create orbs on arc weapon kills. On the arms, you're going to want Heavy Handed so that we can create orbs on our powered melee final blows. You're going to Impact Induction, so we're getting some grenade cooldown anytime we do damage with our powered melee. And then I run Melee Font here, just so we get a bonus in our melee stat, just so our Tempest Strike can do more damage. For chest piece, I run 2 damage resistance. They are up to you on whatever you prefer. And then I run Health Font here, just so when you do have armor charge, we get more health, so that when we do grab an Orb of Power, we do get a bit of healing. For boots, I like to run Arc Weapon Surge and Weapons Font, just so we're doing more damage with our weapons, primarily arc weapons. And then 1 copy of Innervation, just so we get grenade cooldown whenever we do pick up an Orb of Power. On the cloak, I run Time Dilation, just so all of our stat buffs will last longer. Reaper then, so every kill after you use Ascension, you will create an Orb of Power. And then Bomber, so that when we do use our class item, we'll get grenade cooldown. So now that I'm done explaining basically everything on the build and getting into all of that detailed nerdy stuff, this is what the gameplay loop will look like. You're going to start a fight by sliding into a group of enemies using Tempest Strike. That will then give you combination blow. Go ahead and use your Ascension there. That will then give you your powered melee back, so that you can go ahead and start the loop over again. You'll basically just do this over and over and over again until every enemy dies. And off the off chance that you don't have your cooldowns and an enemy does die, go ahead and use your Centrifuge, and basically you'll create a blinding explosion that will fry enemies as well. So that right there was the entire build. If you have any questions on the build, please let me know down below. And as always, if you're watching this and you do have any changes or any recommendations you think to make the build better, please also leave those down below. But now let's get into some live gameplay for you. So we're gonna go ahead and take this build into Solo Ops Caldera, and with the whole bunch of mods I've applied here, we're gonna go ahead and be 51 light under. All right, so we're gonna start this fight by throwing an arc grenade there to apply some jolt, just so we do get some resist. Now we just begin the loop over and over again. Everything genuinely, as long as you're not missing your Tempest Strike, will get fried, as well as giving you a whole bunch of damage resist, so you barely, and I mean barely, take any damage. Damn, my accuracy there was terrible. But nonetheless, first Sabotage Depot down. There's an overload here. Luckily, this build does play really well into that with jolt and centrifuge. We're gonna go and do that. Throw our super at him and kind of just slowly poke away at him. Actually, no, I'm using my retrograde here. All right, just kill this last enemy here, and just like that, second depot down. We'll go ahead and enter once again with Tempest Strike. Go ahead and use our Ascension. Tempest Strike again. Go ahead and just use Centrifuge for these last couple of enemies. They're going to be blinded, of course. And just like that, third depot down, onto the boss fight. Go ahead, use Bolt Charge on them. Go ahead and get the rotation going on this group of enemies. They should literally, yeah, they all perish. Oh my god, these spider mines are so annoying. I'm having such regrets on picking that modifier. Alright, we're gonna use this on the both of them real quick. Did I even stick the guy? Yeah, I did. Alright, we're good. Thought I stuck the wrong one. I don't really have a lot of resist up, so it is a bit risky kind of just trying to face tank this guy, but I think we'll be fine. His accuracy is bad enough. There we go. On to the next guy. Oh, no. Messed up the Tempest Strike. We're good. No way he just dodged my Tempest Strike like that. That was impressive. He's about to catch this Arc Staff too. All right, one down. Right? Right, there we go. One down. And just like that, boom. We made light work of a -51 solo ops Caldera. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the build. Once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down below. As always, if you have any build recommendations for future videos or anything you would like me to try out, please drop that down below as well. And if I do end up trying what you use, don't worry, I do mention you in the video and show your comment on screen. So I know some people do enjoy that. If you did make it this far, I post a whole bunch of builds just like what you just watched. So feel free to check all of those out. If you're new here, please feel free to subscribe. We're on the road to 3,000 subs, so I would greatly appreciate it. And just like that, I am done. All you fine ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of your day.